This episode of the Go to Bed podcast is brought to you by Enduro Fest, May 4th at the Wild West Motorsports Park just east of Sparks. If you hit the Mustang Ranch, you have gone too far, but not all is lost. You might want to stop in there too. And this is an AMA Extreme Enduro event, so you know it's going to be sick.
We've got Cody Webb, Ty Tremaine, Kyle Redmond, and Destry Abbott. And we hear there's going to be some amateurs there, kids, and the pros. So, moto guys, if you don't do off-road much, come try it out.
And I've done this event a couple of years ago, and it's gnarly. But yeah, they're definitely racing for all types of riders out there. So give it a shot. May 4th, Sparks.
Enduro Fest.
Be there. Go to bed.
But we're going to get unblocked.
Sometimes you see him out there and he's just fucking asleep.
Get a pillow, get a blanket.
No, I'm not a fucking dirtbag.
Go to bed. Tired, dude.
Good night. Go to bed. You guys ready?
Yeah, there's plenty of ditches around here you can drop some VC mine shafts you can drop people in and
He's all about VC.
yeah.
VC. Fucking place. All right, let's get some, we'll get moto.
Oh shit, dude.
Yep.
You got anything else? Because we already started recording when you're trying to come up with ideas.
Well, this is a new one,
What
folks.
are you using for a fucking pen? Oh, it's still got the fucking clip on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
efficient.
All right, you guys
stick
ready?
it in your fucking hat like a pick later. Like,
That's what the dirt boys would do.
that's right.
Yo, what's going on, everyone? And welcome back to another episode of Go to Bed. I'm your co-host, Fiki, joined with my co-host
J50 Cal Ski JP.
at 50calski_JP on Instagram. Go check out his fitness account. At Go to Bed Podcast on Instagram, gotobedpodcast.com for all the shit relating to here. We got all of our merch on there and our PayPal and our Patreon, all that shit. And what do we want? We want everyone to subscribe and rate the podcast. Keep giving us those shitty ratings for us to read. We'll start reading them on here more. Because every rating that we get is like bad. It's like you guys fucking suck, basically, but 5 stars. So that's awesome.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Before we get too far into it, we need to shout out our sponsors. Who are our sponsors?
Our sponsors are Walden's Coffee House. They got 3 locations. They got one on Mayberry and McCarran, Arlington, 310 South Arlington Street. And we got fucking another one on Wells. You're going to want to go to those. That's super good burritos.
310 Arlington. Yeah, they hooked us up with some burritos for this episode again. Go in there, tell them to go to bed, get something for free. And our other sponsor, at Enduro Fest on Instagram, May 4th, out at the Wild West Motorsports Park in Sparks.
Hard enduro race.
Sparks. Summit.
It's in Sparks, and they're going to be riding over some rocks in Sparks Summit. Look out for the Conway Killer.
The Conway Killer, the Matrix. He'll be out there. Conway's not going to be there. But he does have a section named after him at the track. So go check out the Matrix and
Tag Go to Bed when you go there.
Yep, tell him to go to bed. Cool. So today's guest, Jerry. Jerry is the current driver for the TLD. What's the team name?
Twirly Designs, Red Bull, KTM, Nature's Bakery, 4-wheel parts. There's probably about 18 more that I could list off. But
The KTM 250 team with that guy that is balding prematurely.
Well, Shane and I have about 25 years difference, but we have the same hairline. It's kind of like Mike Mason's hairline too. So,
And we got Mike Mason on the show next week, so we'll have to drop that on him as well.
He knows probably already that's coming,
Oh yeah.
Hairline.
I think his hair was receding, like when he still couldn't see over the counter at Big Valley on Mill Street.
Yeah.
I think it was going bad then.
I told him the other day on Instagram that Because he's
Did
always
you
like,
fly to Atlanta to get that cut or what? Oh, there's no lines in it.
if you're not watching on YouTube, go
Right.
check out our YouTube. Just search Go to Bed Podcast on there to see JP's new haircut. How's that line look, though?
Yeah, what do you think? Is it straight, like on us? Like,
Well, it kind of arcs on both sides. Turn around. Let me see the back. Let me see the back of your skullet. Yeah, it's a little crooked.
no way.
Oh, dude, that's your eyes.
Really?
It might be my eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's straight. We put a beanie on it,
Yeah.
and I
It's-
shaved around the beanie.
Oh, so you did it? Well,
yeah.
then it's straight.
And then we took the beanie off, and then I tried to fix it where I fucked
It's
up.
about as straight as you are. So yeah.
I think it looks good. Looks better than the haircut he had.
Yeah.
There's that.
All right. So, Jerry, give the listeners your backstory. I don't know how far back you want to go. It's pretty long, but
Yeah. As I've been accused of, and I think it is a trending thing on Instagram, hashtag JERRYSTORIES. I don't want to go too far back, but let's see. I mean, I moved up here in 95 and went to work at Big Valley Honda on mill for old man Rich and Richie, who now owns Motosource, and with Lane. And a lot in between that, but ended up getting out of that after Richard passed away for a little while. And I actually went back to work for them 3 times, but yeah, went off and did something else stupid and then came crawling back and they took me back. Still don't know why. And so when I got out of it, I actually went to work for Lakeside Specialized Transportation here in town because one of the guys that was part owner at the time was a customer at Big Valley. And my dad had always driven truck and went to work for them for a couple of years. And at one point they said, hey, we want you to go get your CDL. And so I said, okay, well, that's fine. They were paying me a good amount of money, so they wanted me to drive every couple of days or something, just to offset what they were paying me. And at that point in time, Greg King was driving for Yamaha Troy. And I never really wanted to be a driver, but I said, heck, if I'm going to be a driver, that's what I want to do. So I kind of brought my 2 worlds together, motorcycles and trucking, and he steered me in the right direction. I wouldn't say really, he helped me, of course, but he didn't put his name on me. And I understand why. It wasn't because of anything personal, but he had done that for a few people and it kind of not worked out all that well. So
I do that for him all the time.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
What?
he turns around and gives it back to you with no lube is what he does. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I got where Greg was at, but he steered me in the right direction. I went to work for Feld, Motorsports when they used to do their own trucking, and they had Penske trucks, but they had their own trailers and everything. Did that for 2 years. Was signed up. That was 09 and 10 that I did that for them. Was signed up for 11, and basically November 1st they called me and said, "Hey, we're not going to do our trucking anymore. We're going to farm it out." And so they offered me a job, a little less money, but they offered me to continue doing what I was doing without the driving. And that's kind of, driving in general is pretty therapeutic for me. It's a pretty big part of the job in terms of me, in what way I look at it, where in some people look at it as just, hey, that's the least part of the job. And so I looked around a little bit and I ended up going to work after calling pretty much everybody in the industry and every seat was full. I ended up actually going to work for John Ayers, who is the operations manager for MX Sports for the outdoor series. But he runs a few trucks for people and runs the novelties for just about everything, T-shirt trucks and stuff. But he had taken over the Dunlop truck and warehousing and all that stuff. It's kind of a late thing. And so I did that. Had some personal issues that year, mainly a now ex-wife that needed to get out of my life. So I came home at the end of 11 and went to work for Rich at Motosource, which was awesome of him to basically just put me on, I remember that I started working and he's like, yeah, I don't even know what we're going to pay you. And I'm like, I don't care. I just need a damn job. And I worked for Rich before, so it was kind of a shoo-in. So ended up working a couple of years and started to feel like I had some unfinished business out on the road. And so I had remained friends with quite a few of the drivers out there. And one of them, Kyle Stone, who drives Eli's bus,
Whoa.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, that's big time, dude.
Yeah, I've been pretty good friends with him since I worked for Feld. Because he used to drive a Jägermeister jump truck, the truck that I don't know if you guys ever remember seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
You guys were probably still shitting in your diapers when that was going on, but regardless,
Yeah, that was like 2 years ago.
yeah, pretty much. Anyhow, he sent me a few ways for some things, and a lot of them were no money, and I'm like, it's not worth it for me to go out unless it's going to be worth it, And I didn't have anything going. I mean, I got my dog, and my mom lives here at that point, but other than that, I didn't have anything going on. And so I got a call from Katie Watson in December of 15, and they were running for last couple of years of its existence, except for the last year, RCH ran a second truck for activation, marketing, and hospitality during Supercross only. And they called me. Numbers were good. And it's funny because I always wanted to work for two teams way back when I worked for Feld. And one of them was Troy Lee Designs and one of them was Hart Huntington at that moment. So essentially now I've got both of them. But anyway, going forward again, did Supercross for them, and then did a few things in between that summer for them and for some other people. Drove Dunlop truck for a couple of rounds when they didn't have a driver and stuff, but kind of was going to 17 going, I don't know if there's any seats, and I wanted to continue doing this. And I want to say it was either just before October, it was beginning of October, or just after October 1, which is kind of everybody's signing date for contracts in the industry. I got a text from Andy Dalton, who was Shane's mechanic. He used to live with Mike and used to work at Michael's, and that's how I knew him, because I worked at Michael's with him in Reno for a little while. And he said, hey, what are you doing next year? And I said, I don't have a contract with anybody. I haven't really made waves and everything. He said, well, TK, who's the team manager at TLD, is going to call you. TK called me, and we talked for a little bit. And what was is their driver Dirk, he had decided that he didn't want to be on the road anymore at that point. So, anyhow, I talked to him, and then okay, I'll get back to you. And I found out now, being there, he if he has to fire anybody, which I don't think we fired anybody, but if he fires anybody, he fires quick and hires slow. So I'm basically pacing the floor, going, fuck, I don't know if I have a job or not, but I really, really badly want this. So just before Monster Cup, which is, always around the middle of October, he calls me and to say, do you want to come up to, Monster Cup and everything? And I was living in Arizona at the time. And if everything works out right, you can, start right then, basically. So I drove up and did it. And obviously I hadn't really driven a race truck at that point, so I didn't know everything. So it was a little bit overwhelming, but basically by the end of the night, I'm like, yeah, I can do this. So I started there. So that was Monster Cup 16 is when I started.
And what is it that your whole, you drive, and then what other tasks?
Well, I mean, the basics is, I like to say, drive, clean, cook, repeat. But there's a million different facets in that, obviously. We, for the most part, all of us drivers wash our own trucks. Wherever we go, we got to fill up the water tanks and get the pressure washer going and get soft water going and hand wash the whole thing, which is particularly awesome when it's been raining or we've gone through, a minefield of bugs. So it takes anywhere from, honestly, it takes me probably a little longer than some of the other guys, but 4 to 6 hours to clean it. So that's every weekend. And then we park usually, Thursday, and sometimes I'll get the flooring out. We have flooring, which is a KTM Husqvarna thing that we roll out. Yamaha does it, but it's a little different style flooring. But anyway, that basically needs to go down. And then sometimes I'll do that and put up the structure of the tent before the guys get there. And then that way it just shortens our setup time by, an hour or so. Mm-hmm. Might take me 2 to do all that by myself, and I'm slow anyway, so there's that too. But anyhow, and then, we get the structure up, we put everything together, and then we go racing. Yeah. And I cook, basically for Supercross, I cook breakfast for the guys on Saturday morning, something I hadn't been doing the last 2 years, but I started doing it this year. And I was making them breakfast, but just, like microwave egg whites and stuff. But I got a griddle and had my girlfriend teach me how to cook breakfast worth of shit. And, and cook in general worth of shit, because I didn't have any complaints, but I think they were too big of a pussies to actually say anything before. So
that it wasn't.
Yeah, when she's been coming to the races, she cooks and they rant and rave and tell me mine's shit. And I'm like, well, are you fucking serious, or you just give me shit? I mean, because either way, I don't care really. But,
Yeah.
you gotta fuck yourself. But I mean, it is what it is. But anyhow, so yeah, I cook breakfast for the crew, and then after, like on Supercross, after all the day qualifiers, between that and opening ceremonies, I'll cook more or less for the riders. But I cook enough where the crew can eat it too. It's very simple. Just, it's just organic chicken and rice and a green vegetable. And then at that point, really, even though you're still 4 or 5 hours from really tearing down, I actually start doing things in order to tear down. So, tear down my barbecues and start pulling what I can. And we tear it down. And then usually I have to move the truck out of especially Supercross, out of the pits, either to another portion of the stadium. Portion. What the fuck did I just say? Anyway.
Parson.
Parson?
Yeah.
All right. No.
That's Doug Parson.
Doug Parson. And then, or I'll move back to the hotel, one of the two. Mm-hmm. And then, depending on where we're at and what's going on, Sunday is usually a build day. So it'll usually be, lately it's been one guy and me, whatever rider's mechanic is on. We'll pull out pressure washer and they'll tear the bike all the way down, to bare frame and rebuild it back up. And I'll do what I can, whether depending on my work, whether carpets or flooring or something like that, and then put it all away. And they fly out, and usually I'll stay that night and then get on the road again. So a lot more to that, but I mean that's a medium basic of what I got to do.
So it's basically just you throughout the whole week. You're there by yourself, and then everyone else flies in.
Yes.
Like no one else is with you on the truck.
No, it'll none of my team. Yeah, I mean, it's all of us truck drivers together, more or less, and sometimes I'll run by myself, depending on what I've got going on. But it's always a little bit. There's always safety in numbers with a situation like that, and we'll run along if there's, a pothole the size of. I said pothole. If there's a pothole the size of the Volkswagen Bug, one of us will call it out, or if there's a car on the side of the road or something, and it's easier to just, that. And,
yeah.
But, I mean, like I say, sometimes I run by myself and it's just easier that way, or timing will make it like that. So, yeah, for my crew, they don't usually fly unless we have press. Even if we have press, they pretty much fly in Thursday night.
How many hours a day are you driving when you are driving?
I can legally drive, and it's electronically mandated now. I can legally drive 11 hours. So that's what the government says. When we used to be on paper, I mean, I've pushed it before.
Really?
I'm not going to lie, but yeah. I mean, honestly, the most I ever did, and it was to prove a point to myself, and and I failed at it. And it's when I first started. I drove 16 hours. I drove all the way across the state of Texas, from Las Cruces, New Mexico to Shreveport, Louisiana. And that's when I first started. And I just was so wasted that I slept more than I could drive 11, and then I have to rest for 10. With that, I drove 16 and rested for about 12. So really, what did I accomplish? Nothing in terms of pushing the envelope of time, But now it's all on on an app on my phone, and it keeps track of the engine running and everything else. And really and truly, 11 hours in a semi, that's enough time. Yeah. If it's a long stretch and you're not going through a lot of big towns, I always feel like I could go longer, and wouldn't have a problem, 2-3 hours longer maybe without an issue. But you start mixing cities and traffic in with that, 11's good.
Yeah.
So, it's just a matter of keeping, and this isn't just within the industry drivers, it's as a whole with truck drivers. It's a matter of keeping your nose to the grindstone, keeping your speed up, which momentum's everything in these damn things, especially, if you don't have a truck that isn't as fast as, that can maintain speed up hills or anything like that. And when you go into the truck stop, don't dilly-dally looking at the shit they're trying to sell you. You know, get in, pay for your fuel. If you got to take a leak, do it, and grab something to drink. If you don't have something in the truck, and get moving again. And that's a lot of the problem is a lot of these guys are paid, you know, by the mile, you know, in a regular semi, and they wonder why they can't make any money. It's because they're sitting there bullshitting with another driver, or they're checking out the stupid fucking Nordic helmets that they have on sale at Love's or some shit like that. Or, you know, I get in there and just go, you know.
Yeah, that's good.
So, and that's part of it. I want to get, in my philosophy, I want to get from one town, one venue to the next as quick as possible. So I have more time to do whatever work I need to do there. And consequently fuck off while I'm there. You know, I mean, I'd rather spend the least amount of time on the road as possible. So
have you ever like got yourself completely fucked in a tight situation? Because I know like even when we did Warped Tour, like getting near the stadiums, because we're in a lot of the same stadiums, we just play in the parking lot.
Right.
Like even with the van and trailers just fucked trying to get in and out of some of these places. Nothing compared to a semi.
Well, we had 2 new stadiums this year, and the rest of them I know how to get into them, where to take the truck. Honestly, Denver last week, going into it, I followed. I had 2 GPSs going, and they used to make us maps of what the best truck route in was. They don't do that anymore, and I kind of asked if they would, and kind of
the team.
No, Feld.
Oh,
yeah, Feld. And I kind of asked this year if we could do some of that, because there's some stadiums that you got an inexperienced driver and he's not following one of us, like Seattle.
Yeah,
That was actually the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, Seattle's crazy.
That's a nightmare if you don't know what you're doing.
Where do you guys park there in the park?
We park inside the WAMU Theater, which is on the south end of whatever the stadium's called now, Quest, CenturyLink. I don't freaking know.
Yeah, you're right.
Anyway, we take trailers in there, drop the trailers, we plug the trailers in so we don't have to run the generators, and then take the tractors around the north side of the stadium. That used to be the pits up there until they built those 2 buildings that are there now. That's why we didn't go to Seattle for a couple of years, because they didn't really know where to put us. And then they ended up figuring out that we could get the trailers in that WAMU Theater or whatever, and so we do that. And it's tight, but it works. So,
wow. That's
but
cool shit.
if you get some of the guys that don't know where they're going or what they're doing, I remember the first year I went to Atlanta, they changed the name of the street that I was supposed to turn on. I had a map. I go by and I'm like, oh, that looks like it on the map, but that's not the name of it. I keep going a little further, and I got into more and more of a bad part of town. And I'm like, okay, I'm like 2 miles past the stadium now. Something's wrong. So I flipped around. I found a place where I could turn the truck around, and went back, and then realized that, that's the street I was supposed to do. But they changed some guy's name from a normal street name, and, to honor him or something. And the map that I had that was given to me by a Feld guy, but it was a couple years old.
Oh.
So, and this is a time, 9, 10, there really wasn't. Now I have a GPS that's truck specific, and if I'm gonna, it knows if I'm gonna go on a road that's won't support the weight of the truck, or I've got a low bridge or something. It tells me that kind of things. But this is before. I mean, they had GPSs, but even phone GPS really wasn't all that great. So you still had to rely on maps at that point. So.
Do you guys have a bunch of issues at like every round with? Because the stadiums are always near like the shitty part of town.
Yes.
Wow. Every round.
Well, I mean, obviously, for the most part, they're going to put stadiums, as close to the downtown center as possible. Few exceptions are like Gillette, where the Patriots play. It's kind of I like to say it's like Fernley of Massachusetts.
Okay.
Because it's out. I mean, it's an hour from Boston. But in the town that's around it is really kind of just run down. I mean, you think stadium, you think, okay, it's going to be downtown or it's going to be near some money, one of the two. But yeah, I mean, for instance, San Diego, new stadium. I mean, it's only a couple years old. But the homeless population around it is just really bad, and I mean, I don't get involved in politics, so I don't know what the city of San Diego is trying to figure out, or something for them or something. But it's just I start, turning around and look at it as a spectator point of view. And because the pits are so far away at San Diego, there's not a seamless transition. You're not coming out of the stadium and going directly into the pits. You have to walk through all this. So your casual fan who maybe, one of us introduced to Supercross, hey, come on, man, I'll buy you a ticket or whatever, sees that, he's not likely to really, I don't see him really likely to be like, yeah, I want to go again. He might go to another one. He might go to Anaheim, which isn't bad. I mean, they used to have a homeless down there on the river.
Yeah.
They've cleaned that up now. I don't know where that they did it, and I mean, obviously it's a fact of life, but I mean, if you were going to go, you're a big movie buff and all that stuff, and you were, I guess technically if you went to Riverside, but you're still going through the homeless people here, you know what I mean? But I mean, it's not a point of that. It's how likely are you going to continue to go to that place when you got panhandlers and stuff, you know what I mean? You're going to avoid that place. You're going to go to somewhere else. So, and it's not about, hey, get the fuck out of here. It's about figuring out how to help these people and get them somewhere where they're, if they don't have any skills, teach them something, So, but I don't know. Sometimes the world pays attention to way too much shit that they shouldn't. But I'm not going to go there. So
yeah, they got to start paying attention to this podcast.
Yeah,
donate
that's
to our
right.
Patreon.
That's right. I mean, this thing's a pile of shit, so we need to fix that.
Yeah.
This one better be the highest. If I took time out of my day of fucking off, this one better be the highest rated one. All I'm saying.
Yeah, right now. You heard it first.
If you're going to pay attention to a pile of shit, you might as well pay attention to this one.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and Adam fucking bought a bike one time from like next to the Coliseum in Oakland.
Ooh.
And it was the sketchiest Craigslist transaction I've ever had. But
Did you get a title?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I was questioning. I'll go through the whole thing, but I was questioning if we were even going to get a bike and not killed. But when we got off, we like drove down there. It was a RM 125, and the thing looked nice, and we were getting it for our buddy Jake, and he had to like go to work or something, so we had to go get it for him. So Adam came up here, picked me up, and we drove down, and we didn't get there until like 8 p.m. or something. It was fucking pitch black.
Oh,
and
that's on you.
Yeah. We're getting off the freeway. The GPS tells us to get off, and it's the same exit as the Coliseum, and we only had like 2 miles to go or something. And we're like, fuck, dude, like it's very sketchy near there, but there is some like nice shit. You turn a corner and it's nice. So we're like, maybe it's there. And then right when we get off, and he's like, dude, when I did Supercross here, like they were telling us to like get back in your trucks and stuff like that because it was so sketchy, just like being out and lock up the bikes and all that stuff. But so we go, and it tells us to go through this neighborhood, and it was like turn left on whatever street, and we go to turn, and it's just pitch black down this street. There's all these like broken down cars on the street. There's like bodies everywhere in the street.
Oh, so
we're like, all right, fuck this. We just kept going straight and had it redirect us. Went around, and we finally made it to where this house was, and it was in like a slightly better neighborhood than that, but still like shitty as fuck. And it was like turn right, and the destination's on your left. And we looked down there, and this house is literally the last house on the left before it backed up to a freeway. So it was a dead end right there. It was the last house. There was a broken down motorhome on the right side of the street. We're like, fuck that. We're not going down there.
Right.
And we just kept going. And then we had to go like 2 miles before we found somewhere where it was safe to stop. We found this like well-lit gas station that didn't have bars on the windows. I was like, actually, that's a pretty good sign for this area.
Absolutely.
And because I've been to San Fran before where like you couldn't even go in the gas station. You have to do it like a movie theater type. Yeah. So I was like, all right, this is a pretty good area. So we called the guy, and Adam calls him, and he was like, yeah, I'm here. Like he sounded totally normal. And like, nothing wrong with it. And the bike was like a moto bike, like the graphics and everything. And it looked fine. And then we're sitting there like, dude, we can't go back there. Like, what do we do? So I called the dude, and I was like, hey, dude, I know this sounds weird, but like, this is kind of sketchy. And he's like, what do you mean? And I was like, can you meet us with the bike? He's like, no, like I don't have a truck. And I was like, how do you ride the bike then? And he's like, oh, well, it's my buddy's bike. He was in the same situation we were in. His buddy that was selling the bike was at work.
Right.
Our buddy who was buying the bike was at work. So he was like, well, he has a truck, and it's his bike. I'm like, okay. And so we hung up the phone, and we're like, all right, let's fucking go by this place. And if it looks sketchy as fuck, like, let's just keep going. Fuck it. He's not getting the bike.
Right.
And the guy was like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I can come meet you out at the street. We're like, okay. And we're like, if the dude looks sketchy, let's go.
Right.
And well, so we pull up, and this dude looked like a hipster that you'd see in Midtown Reno.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, what the fuck? So we stopped and talked to him, and he's like, oh yeah, it's right here. And we were still kind of sketched out, and I was like, back in. And Adam's like, yeah, good call. And Adam, fucking tactical Adam, carries a gun everywhere except to this place.
Of course he does.
Yeah. Like, fucking useless. And so we back down the street, and dude, shit you not, as soon as we got to the house, this car pulls in and like blocks us from getting out. And we're like, what the fuck? And we like look over at the dude, and he's like, oh no, they live right here. And he like was speaking Spanish to him, and they lived in that broken down RV that was on the street.
Sweet.
So they like pulled out of the way. And like we
broken
go
down RV is probably a food truck now. So
could have been then. I don't know. They just weren't open.
That's true.
But so we go in this house, dude, and I had my fucking fist clenched. I was ready to swing on someone coming at me from the side. And like we go in, and we take a left, and we go into this shop that there's like no door from the front. You couldn't even tell it was a garage. And the thing was fucking painted white. It was like a 20 by 40 shop.
Wow.
It had like 16 bikes in there, like bobbers and like street bikes, couple dirt bikes, helmets up on the wall. And like these two guys, they like build motorcycles out of there. And the bike was there. It was like not sketchy at all. We didn't fucking test ride it. Fuck that. We just put it in the truck.
Yeah, well, it's a two-stroke.
It's
a two-stroke. You could rebuild the whole thing from bottom to top for $200.
And it was clean. Like we knew it was good. And we just loaded that thing up as quick as we could, gave him the money, and fucking dipped out. Yeah, it was well,
I mean, I guess that's, sarcasm aside, that's don't judge a book by its cover, I guess, in a backwards sense of how it is normal. So, yeah.
We're like, because we were thinking, they're like, dude, there's no way that bike is in this neighborhood. Like, that bike is not here, dude. They know we have, because they agreed on the price since none of them were going to be there. So they knew how much money we were bringing.
Right.
Like, they know that we have, like, it was $2,700 or something. Yeah. And there's no fucking bike.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to get robbed.
Yeah. Oakland's one of those, it's, I'm obviously, like you say, the town, 200 feet difference is a different town, but it's one of those stadiums that I pull into and the guard says, what are you doing here? I'm like, I have 70 feet of painted, Peterbilt and high-tech trailer and what's happening here. You know the schedule of what's going on. I'm like, yeah, I'm here for Supercross. Oh, okay, go ahead and park. I'm like, yeah.
What'd you think, dude?
I'm here to unload some vegetables,
At farmer's market, dude.
And I mean, everybody, the world needs ditch diggers too. Famous line from Caddyshack. But it's like, guy, you don't understand why I'm here. Yeah. And or they'll tell me, oh, you got to do this. Yeah, I've been here before. I'm good. Just
you always get the two extremes with the security. Even just like being a spectator, it's either people that do not give a fuck at all, or they're like way over the top. Well, what they're trying to get you to do.
Two things that go along with that. # Jerry Stories. One of them, this year we've been having a huge problem with, because that's another thing I do for Supercross is I film. So we can't go into it all. We don't have all night, but there's been a couple situations where we'll go in and out of the door of a stadium all day long with our credentials, cameras in hand, 10, 12 guys going up to film. Come night show, oh, you can't come in this door. Like, what the fuck? You've seen me come in this door 14 times today. Why now? Oh, my boss says you can't. So where do I go then? Oh, you got to go halfway around the stadium to get in, go through the metal detectors, which, they're going off, and, most of us carry radios. I usually go put mine down through my shirt, all the wires and stuff, so I don't catch on anything. And I walk through it and, oh, you're going off. Yeah, I got a radio on. Here, I'm not going to pull it all out, And so you either get guys that don't care, or you get guys that think that their next step is, guarding Trump, CIA, like somebody talking into his wrist.
Like, dude, you got a couple more steps to go.
Yeah, exactly. But I do remember the one year when I worked for Feld and we were at San Francisco, we were at Giant Stadium before they moved to Oakland. We had the security, big quotation mark, big air quotes, just walking around the perimeter of the track, just chilling, just hanging out, having a good time, a couple of them. So at that point in time, our eyes in the sky, were this guy who ran the trucking and did a lot of other stuff, Bob, and then big Mike LaRocco's dad. He was a hard ass. You know, I liked him, but he was on top of us. And I said, hey, I keyed Mike. I go, hey, Mike, well, I don't know what this guy's doing here, but, you know, I mean, he's obviously not guarding anything that he should be. He shouldn't be down here. You know, we don't have security on the floor.
Like on the dirt?
Yeah, on the floor, yeah. Because part of my job with Feld not only was driving, but what you would call, you know, in road race terms, a corner worker. I was, you know, responsible for if someone, you know, went ass over tea kettle, I was to direct, you know, somebody around it. And if that took stepping out in front of these guys in a whoop section, that's what you did. I see the guys now and I want to smack them because they're big pussies about it, you know, but it's like, hey, you need to make eye contact with this rider and make sure he sees you and move him over. If a guy's laying on his ass right there until Alpine Star, I still get that mixed up, but until medical guys get there or something. If he's unable to do, you know, get up, then you pick up the bike and you kind of guard him you kind of deflect with the bike if somebody doesn't see you. So, and anyhow, the security guard boss finally came along and booted those guys right out. Like, you're done. We're not paying you, you know, but, you know, same thing. It's like one extreme or the other with these guys, you know. So,
yeah, I noticed that with the flaggers when AC went down on the backside of that like step over thing.
Yeah.
Like a couple weeks ago. He was fucking flagging right next to him, but I'm like, dude, that does run up the thing. You got to flag up there, dude.
Yeah, he was flagging on the backside of the jump like
those guys are in the air and they can't do anything.
And I was filming this weekend too, and you know, I'm following Cantrell, so I've got two cameras going. I've got one that's just an overview of the whole thing, so we can see what everybody else is doing, and then one that I'm on Cantrell with. And I happened to catch something when they were coming around. AC was coming around, getting close to lapping Cantrell, and I noticed something that even the blue flag guys, which are AMA guys, are throwing the blue flag in front of AC, and I'm like, AC knows that that's not the case, but I'm like, you know, and so, yeah, the flaggers, for the most part, the regular yellow flaggers are volunteers and, you know, they're passionate about the sport. So they're volunteering their time to do it. And that's cool and all, but I don't know if they have any, like, I don't think anybody gives them any direction, you know, and like, hey, you know, you need to slow people down. You need to make sure they see you. You can't be on the backside of a jump. And, you know, I mean, I had a situation once with Feld where there was an AMA guy running, I think, triple lights, and I was working a triple. And what is this, District 36 here? Is it? You know, and that's way they get a lot of the AMA people. There's a certain amount of them that fly in every week. They're there every week, but a lot of their volunteers are from that whatever district that is, and they'll come in. So again, I don't know how much, you know, guidance they have about it, but I had to jump out and pick somebody up. And he wasn't throwing the triple lights. So I was in between like second and third, picking a guy up to get him out towards his tough blocks so he's not laying there and this bike's not laying there. And this guy is not even paying attention. He's watching the race.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it goes into a lot of it. You know, with me, it's like, yeah, you know, I've been lucky enough. I've had a lot of cool jobs, but it's a job. What I do is a job, you know. And I have fun doing it, yes, but some people look at it as that it's all sunshine and roses, and it's not. You know,
that's how it always is with any like cool job.
Yeah,
looking in from the outside. Oh, that must be so sick to do that. Who was just telling us that the other day? It was on this show. But it was Chris, the team manager for the Rockwell team.
Oh, okay.
You know, it must be sick to like watch every race. And he's like, I don't even get to watch the race. We got a guy in each qualifying. Like, you don't see any other qualifying.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Real quick, before we go any further, why is that sack of shit Conway not racing this Enduro Fest?
He's on the do not enter list from Enduro Fest.
He's been banned. How did he do that? I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not caught up.
Just because the guy Matt who's putting on the event is a big fan of us.
Oh, okay.
And we just influenced it that way.
Oh, I see. Okay, it's not anything except for being a big pussy.
Mm-hmm.
He sees that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt definitely sees that. Now.
Okay. All right.
A lot of people do. We were just talking about that earlier. We got someone that I don't think knows Conway already telling like girls will comment like heart eyes on Conway's picture of him riding, and the guy will be like, "Dude, you better get some sleep because your vision's messed up."
Yeah.
And it's a random fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's open season on him. I think Savachi's number one. So anyone listening, if you haven't been blocked yet, go to Versace Savachi 17 on Instagram.
sir,
Tell him to
yes,
go to
sir.
bed.
Yeah.
And he's probably blocked at 40 or 50 people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go up with just and I don't know Joey. I know his mechanic Shanty, but just by, hey Jerry, hey Shanty, whatever. But I don't want to go up for just that purpose. I want to have another purpose, and me being underneath the Cowie rig, like to talk to Big B, the driver, or something, and be like, hey, and throw it out and try to smooth this over because, I mean, yeah, I think
There's some tension, dude.
and I don't know why.
He's started with me.
We're getting in his head, dude. Look at his season.
Well, I mean, I can see that out of you.
It's like, dude, just get to bed earlier and run a sticker on your helmet.
Yeah, I mean, that would. I mean, I
And
can't.
we're only asking just one.
I honestly can't imagine just one is paying him that much money. So you send him a couple of burritos from Walden's, you could probably get that on there.
Really?
I'm thinking. I don't know.
I don't know. How do you know?
Money
Like,
talks,
what's up with just one?
And they had a helmet. We were selling helmets when we were at Motosource. And
Oh, really? They've been around for a little bit.
yeah, I mean, I don't know where. I don't even remember where they're based. I'm so disconnected with the retail end of things, but I don't even remember where they were. They're probably made in China, but I don't know where they're based.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything's made in China at this point. But then they do gear, and I think I saw something, from GPs or something. Somebody was wearing it, but nobody, of top 10 material. I just happened to spot it. I'm like, what the hell kind of gear is that? But
That's how you know Lit Kit's fucking rigged, dude, because Savachi won it like 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
And that gear's hideous.
Hideous, dude.
I'll just leave that alone.
Yeah.
Just leave that alone.
But yeah, Savachi's number one on our list, and then
that's
now
right.
Conway's number two, open season.
At
Go
Conway.
at Conway952 on Instagram, and on any given day, he might have it deleted or he might bring it back. So you got to check kind of weekly on that.
Well, normally at 9, whether it be 9:52 a.m. or 9:52 p.m.
Yeah.
I usually send him a text, not every day, of course, because I don't want him to fall on a sword or anything. But I usually will send him a text and just take a picture of the clock and basically say "fuck you" is usually what I do. And then I realized the other day the DOT number on my truck ends in 952, and I go, "Well, fucking, that's why I've always got problems with it because it's got 952 on it."
You're right.
I was thinking the other day, I don't know if Conway has any friends that don't treat him like that.
Well,
Like shit.
I mean, his fucking dad treats him like this.
Even
His
worse, dude.
fucking Dennis don't want to. Dennis should have drowned him when he was young. His life would be a whole lot better. And if Dennis was sitting here, he'd probably agree with me.
Yeah. Oh, we should get Dennis on the show, dude.
Yes, you should. Conway can. Yeah,
We'd be like, so how'd you do this? And he'd just be like, fucking did it.
Yeah. And then he wants to be a cop and he can't even hack that, so he goes back to work for Dennis. And I don't know. It's got to be Marcia that's telling Dennis you gotta hire him back. He's our kid, because Dennis probably did tell him go fuck yourself. Go work at fucking
I
7-Eleven.
didn't even think about that, but you're right.
Yeah,
I
and
don't
sure
see-
it's Marcia going, Dennis, you have
Come
to.
on,
Yeah,
yeah.
come on. He's our son. Not my son. I bet he said that before too. Not my son. Yeah.
Dennis Conway, not my son.
That's right.
Dude, they look like brothers that have, and they act the same like weird pissed off face. So funny.
So, well, hopefully we can pressure him into. I don't think he's actually on a do not enter list for an Enduro
Yeah,
Fest,
no,
but
hopefully
we don't
he'll be
think he's
there.
going to show up.
Yeah.
Well, that would be par for the course with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did
If
show
if he does, he's going to go ass over tea kettle in practice. Okay. And complain
Yeah.
about something.
Yes.
He's probably going to eat a fucking now and later and be spitting it up so he can say I'm spitting up blood and then,
Yeah.
puss out and go home.
Yeah. And well, they had this this event at Four Wheel Parts in Sparks.
Yeah, I caught some of that.
They set up like a rock garden,
Mhm.
and so Matt was like, "Hey, get Conway to come out for this." It was like to promote the real
Yeah,
event.
absolutely.
I'm like, "All right." So I sent him a text. I'm like, "Go to this," and that was all it took. Dude, he's so easily influenced,
Oh, yeah.
and he had his bike like for sale and everything, and had all the enduro gear pulled off of it, and so he fucking. That's all I said was like, "Go here."
Yeah.
And like 2 days later, he shows up full enduro biking. And he's like, dude, I spent like 6 hours yesterday putting this thing back together. I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like, yeah, spend 6-8 hours putting your bike back.
Did he
drive an hour here and then ride for 20 minutes?
Is that that's been about a month ago ish, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he sell that bike yet?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, probably not. Once they realized that he was the owner of it, no go.
Yeah.
He's better off just trading for my bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Honda 08. He did good in 08. Maybe you should bring something back.
Yeah.
Good is a variable term with
Locally.
Conway. Yeah.
Good, locally good.
Yeah.
So, like, Stead, I think he won a moto.
Yeah.
So,
He won a moto.
Yeah,
A moto, and that's probably because everybody else fell down.
and Shogun beat him.
Yeah. Yeah.
When he was on 80s.
Yeah, yeah.
Riding the intermediate class.
And then Gary Baxter, Brandon Baxter, they all beat him after that. Corey Haas, me.
I got a whole shot on him at Gardnerville Arena Cross.
Really?
2000.
Where the hell they hold an arena cross in Gardnerville?
At the fairgrounds, dude. Right next to the dump.
Who no shit. Who put that on?
I think Brown put it on.
Weird.
Because me and Adam were in the gator jumping the catapult. They had like the beginner catapult.
Yeah.
We were doing that, and Brown was all pissed off.
Brown
after the race.
pissed off?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. All right, let's do the Tech One current event.
Perfect. What a good time. Tech1designs.com for your fucking graphics. Get them now because those stock ones are fucking lame. Bitch.
All right, let's.
Come on, give me some news.
I'm trying to find a good one. Oh, here we are. All right.
I got some topics too. I mean,
Number 4 trending story. Why this owl raised a duckling as its own?
let it rip, Jerry. Let them know.
This
An
is
owl.
this is the type of shit that makes me want to throw my phone. go get a razor so I don't have to look at Facebook or anything like that, and just
A razor phone, not a razor blade.
both. Yeah,
Either.
I thought you got a razor.
I want to slice this way, so they can't repair the vein, and then just throw my phone.
Yeah. Dude, my mom had a razor until like
That was my first
this
one.
year. I
She
got this
probably-
phone and gave her my old one.
She probably still has it. She probably didn't get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, why would you? It still works. It's
What-
still
yeah.
charged too.
Yeah, and if you drop it, it's going to break the fucking concrete. It's not going to hurt itself.
You're right.
You know.
That was my first phone, man.
Yeah.
5th grade.
You had a phone in 5th grade?
Yep.
All right. So this article's 10 pages long, but moral of the story is this stupid, what was it? Owl sat on the wrong eggs, hadn't hatched a duck, and now is raising it. What do you think about that?
Dude, that sounds weird as fuck, not gonna lie. Like, how do you, first of all, well, I'm not an owl, but how do you fucking lose your eggs? And then when the chicken or whatever, what was it?
Duck.
A duck pops out, way different beak, totally different body. You don't go, fuck. That doesn't look like me, like,
You just get out of the pool?
yeah. Swimming, dude. Pools open, springs here.
Could tell
Is
by
that
his
that's
eyes.
not a Reno story, is it?
National Geographic.
Oh, so that's out in the wild.
Yeah, it could be anywhere nationally.
Wow, that's amazing, actually.
Because if it was a Reno story, I was going to say the owl got into JP's stash, and that's why I sat on the wrong fucking eggs.
Left my window open.
Yeah, left you fucking and got in that. Yeah, little
Yeah,
edible
it-
of his own.
Flew back to St. Raphael.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, we got some weak fucking stories today.
That is a week story. What's
Yeah.
today? Wednesday?
Well, the other ones were Notre Dame devastation captured by drone.
Oh, that's cool.
On a serious note, I was talking to a girlfriend this morning about whether or not we did not know whether or not that had suffered, that Notre Dame Cathedral Church, whatever, had suffered any damage in World War II. It didn't, which surprised the shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
That it just seemed to be, and yet there were a lot of other churches, in Germany and in Britain that were bombed, but that one did not, get it. So I kind of wondered about that. Like, yeah, they say it's this old, and everything, but it actually did not suffer any damage. And
We were talking about that at the studio yesterday because I guess it was, I haven't looked into it, but it was like a renovation worker or something started it on accident, or they think it's an accident so far.
Well, they picked the guy up in front of the Home Depot,
Yeah.
and that's why he didn't know how to use a torch. So that's
Yeah.
why that's what happened.
and Home Depot is French if you look at the spelling of depot.
Yeah,
True. But we were saying this dude really fucking did it on purpose and was like, you know what? He just had like a lit cigarette or something. And he's like, Hitler couldn't even bring this thing down. Just
but watch me. Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know in this day and age.
Yeah, that is weird, dude. People are crazy, dude. Look at 50 cal. Have you seen 50 cal?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Usually get caught up on that when on the morning constitutional on the throne. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I bet that's where most people watch 50 cal.
Pretty much.
There's probably the only spot that you should.
Same quality as the content.
Shit.
Yeah. Yeah, you take really, really good your video and your photographs. I mean, honestly, if you were in SoCal and you were hanging at Milestone and Paula and all that stuff, you'd be right up there with them guys. You know, the guys that are doing it for a full-on living, which I know you're trying to make a living doing it.
Yep.
But the rest of what you got going on, I'm not real sure about.
50 cal, you think
The lifestyle choices that you've made. I mean, I'm concerned about you. You know?
Well,
So,
thank you.
I mean, and if I'm concerned about you because I've made some really bad lifestyle choices, you should maybe be concerned.
I don't
Speaking
even.
of bad choices,
Yeah.
I think one of the only things Jerry's taught me is that hairstylists are one chromosome away from a stripper.
And that I actually cannot take full credit for. That was a Jason Shakespeare told me that. He was married to a hairstylist. Ty was married to a hairstylist. Was married to a hairstylist that was also a stripper and a hairstylist. So yeah, I mean,
They're close.
It's really close.
And your theory on it was that they spend so much time above the head with the chemicals from the hair color.
Mm-hmm.
They're sniffing that shit in all day, fucks up their brain.
Yeah.
And that's what makes them crazy.
Yeah.
I think that's a good theory.
Huffing paint, huffing gasoline, they tell you not to do this. There's a shit ton of chemicals being put in hair coloring. It has to be. I mean, you think about what you're doing. And I mean, I'm just saying that from experience, everything was rosy. And then I put my ex-wife through hair school and all of a sudden here it came. And yeah, so.
How was that quick? It was a quick onset.
Yeah,
too.
it was pretty much
Okay.
it started to go. And I was like, well, okay. And I hung on as long as I could.
Strong product.
Yeah, strong, very
That's
strong.
3 for 3. That's you, Ty, and Jason.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, it's not a theory. It's proven.
Yeah,
Yeah, isn't that a scientific thing? Like test it 3 times.
Yeah, 3's a party is what it is.
yeah.
And if you're building something, it only takes a minimum of 3 screws into wood. Just if anyone out there got some projects this weekend.
Fucking Bob Vila over here.
That makes sense.
No, that's what I was taught. Like if you're building a quick
No, that
workbench.
makes sense in the context of what we're talking about.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah, 03.
03, Jerry, If I knew you were a driver, I would have had you driving for me in 03, bro. Could have had the rig and everything. We could have wrapped the title up or something.
Fuck yeah.
I already did. I knew I could have done it with you. I did it by myself.
What title? 85, 88, wait, 03,
What?
80 cc?
60, dude.
60?
65.
Right, a KX65?
Yeah, I did.
Which is the same exact fucking motorcycle that they sell new now.
You know why? You know why? 03, they're like, dude, this kid, we're not changing a thing.
Fucking JP.
Ripping.
JP replica.
Yeah, 65 beginner.
65 beginner
Wrapped
MX
up the
West.
title at Fernley.
MX West. It's funny when I was working at Michael's, I was going through all the old shit laying around. There was an MX West t-shirt
Whoa.
with Kenny Lash on it.
Oh.
And I told Mark, I'm like, I need this. I still have it.
Nice.
And I haven't had Lash sign it, but it was to me it was a collector's item. It was
See that black bench over there?
yeah.
There's an MX West 60 beginner state championship jacket in there.
Is it like a members only jacket?
Champions only.
Oh,
Yeah.
you
Only the champions that year.
like a shiny silver Corvette jacket or some shit like that.
It's like a
Oh, dude, have you been to Pet Boys for the Corvette memorabilia they have there?
No,
Pet
Oh, dude.
Boys.
Yeah, Pet Boys, dude, on McCarran.
really.
What
Yeah.
are they selling Corvette stuff for?
I guess enthusiasts go there, dude. They got sick ass Corvette jackets, like the NASCAR style ones, but it's all Corvette shit.
That's probably none of it is licensed.
Probably not. Yeah,
Let's call GM.
$89, but it's still sick.
Pet
I'm like,
Boys
dude, this place
selling
fucking
that.
delivers.
Dude, that's sick.
Yeah.
That's
I've never even been to a Pet Boys before, but I went in there. I was like, damn.
They got
this
jackets.
You know, your topics every week, horrible. It's
Why?
actually better just to talk about like the topics as a whole rather than talk about the topics.
I really appreciate that, dude.
I mean, those three things below moto, which we've been talking about the whole thing, those Motley Crue, high school, and summer, that's
what I'm saying, dude.
that's like 1991,
we
and
start-
the back of my hair is growing out. My mullet is growing back.
We start the podcast. There's nothing on this board.
Yeah.
And then the first thing he writes is moto. It's like, no fucking shit.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about moto, dude.
I
No shit. And then I
That's
look
easy to
over
go
like
to. That's
halfway
an
through,
icebreaker.
dude. Motley Crue, high school and summer.
I do like
and
that
summer.
he made sure to put the and I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, but the umlauts above the U.
Yeah.
I do like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so you weren't confused about a different Motley Crue that you may have been talking about. Yeah.
Well, he spelled it right too, instead of it being the Motley Crew.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And KREW.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, K.
Yeah, K.
Crue
Because
spelled
your
with a
class
K.
with a capital K.
You know it,
That's right.
dude. You know
Look at
it.
that haircut, dude. That's
Yeah.
class.
Look at that. Free.
Low class, but class.
You're fucking hilarious in spite of yourself. You know that?
I don't know exactly what that means.
Well, all right. Okay. Just take it as a compliment, all right?
Okay, all right. I don't know what that means, dude.
People at the gym loved it this morning.
I know what was Joaquin saying?
Joaquin Phoenix
He loved
goes to
it.
your gym?
Joaquin Ramirez.
Ramirez.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, everyone loved it.
I saw him looking at it like,
I was like, do you like his new haircut? And he was like, oh my God. Like, why did he get that? Or he's like, you did that? I'm like, yeah. He's like, why did he let you do that? I was like, it's his idea. Like, what do you mean, why?
look at that, dude.
Yeah.
Would
You
you-
remind me of the fucking Jason Biggs in American Pie 1. Like, just you in general, and then
Is that the guy who's like, I found a dildo?
he's the one that fucked the pie. Educate yourself.
Oh,
That
It's been a
movie
while.
did come out 2 years before JP wrapped up his title.
Yeah, okay.
So-
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Champion.
Oh,
Champion
three.
in the making.
Oh, three.
So, dude, talk about your summer.
My son.
Not you.
Oh,
Give a fuck
My
about
summer
your
that
summer.
doesn't. Yeah. Summer.
Outdoors.
Summer's 12 fucking rounds of hell.
Yeah.
But I am looking forward to it. You know, this year's been a little tough with injuries and stuff and weather and everything else. Of course, me being the fucking optimist that I am, I'm like, well, shit, it's probably going to be 15 degrees hotter than every other year we've been out there because we've had such a shitty winter. But I'm just hoping everybody's healthy. And outdoors is one of those things that's grown on me in the last couple of years. It used to be dreaded. And now it's, you know, obviously part of the gig, but there's more breaks in it. Like this is my first break since A1,
Yeah.
15 weeks, you know. I mean, there's no break except for Easter and Supercross. With outdoors, I go 3 races, I have a week off. I go 4 races, I have a week off. I go 2 races, and I will have a week off where I'm here after Washougal. And then 3 more after that, and then it's done. So there's more, they build more breaks in there, but just hoping we get through. I'll start with hopefully with 5 guys. Derek Drake's coming, turning pro in Hangtown.
sick.
And hopefully everybody's healthy. And that's all you can hope for.
How does do you do contracts with the team or,
Like myself,
yeah, for driving?
yeah.
So, when is your contract up or
My contract, I believe, is up October 1. Yeah.
is it 1 year? How does that work?
I did 2 year this last time.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, I don't, whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm pretty happy where I'm at. You know, I mean, there's always, you know, always things as with any job, but they treat me well. And for some fucking reason, they like me. So, you know, I mean,
You're all right.
yeah, I used to actually say when I was on RCH, it was marginal at best. That's what I called myself. But, you know,
You're good enough for this show.
Yeah. I mean, this is.
You made it.
Yeah,
dude.
I've made it now.
You made it.
I have made it.
Dude, you're on the same show as that Nate Tierney's been on.
Nathan.
I can go in your bathroom and make something better than that show was. Okay? All right. That fucking guy. He is living. He's Wooderson from Dazed and Confused, man, just working for the city, man. And I don't know if you might know, you might be brothers in arms, but because he liked to partake in the cannabis, but I don't think he can now when he's working.
I don't think he doesn't. We asked him before the show, I think, and he said he doesn't.
Yeah, but it definitely stunted his growth, and mentally, of course.
Mental growth.
Yeah. But I will give him this, and I sent him a text and told him this. Quick story, another hashtag, that may be what you want to call this episode is hashtag Jerry Stories. Yeah. It's trending. Yeah.
It's trending.
Yeah. I'm getting ready to pull out of the pits at Seattle, and Daniel Blair rolls out. And I never spoke with Daniel, but back in the day, it was him and his brother and Conway and Tierney who would show up when I worked for Feld at 4 a.m. press. They wanted to get as much riding as they possibly could on the track. Okay. And I'm only going to speak for Conway. It wasn't going to do any fucking good. But anyway, the rest of them, it might have helped them. So anyway, Blair walks up to me and goes, "Hey, where are you going back to the shop?" And I went, "No, I'm going to Reno tomorrow." And he looks at me and he goes, "The fuck you going to Reno?" And it's because I live there. Well, he didn't know, Well, so anyway, I ended up coming back to Reno that night after Seattle, and his mom drove over his son Evan's 50, and I loaded it in the truck because he was going to do the amateur races at the Supercross Futures or at Houston, Nashville, and Denver. I think all three anyway. So I was going to get the bike there for him, and I was talking to my team manager who used to ride and used to race professionally and everything else, and I was telling the story about how I knew who Blair, and they always used to run around, and I mentioned Nate's name, and it's like, and my boss goes, "Yeah, fucking Nate Tierney used to be fucking badass on a motorcycle." And I went, "Talking about the same fucking guy,
city worker,
yeah, same fucking dude who fucking up until a couple years ago wore the same fly gear for 4 years and looked like he wiped a baby's ass with it." And he was talking about him. And, Nate was badass when he wasn't an idiot,
Yeah.
But, yeah. I wouldn't talk shit about him if I didn't love him, but he's still a fucking moron.
He's sick, dude.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's from where I'm from.
Yeah, dude. He's a local.
Yeah.
Carson local.
He's a local. Yeah.
Dude, I remember him and Mason and someone else always, I forget who, I think Miller, always at Carson Raceway together. Just hanging out and telling my dad, "Oh, run 10 PSI." And I was like, "No, we're going to do 12." And they're like, "Okay, dude, like, we're telling you 10. Or it was like, I just remember shit like that. And then we almost bought Mason's fucking trailer once. And ever since then, I think he's
Almost.
Yeah.
Sick,
What's almost about it?
Like we went there
showed up there because he wanted
$1,200
$1,200 and you brought 8 and he's like, "Fuck off." I mean, what's the almost
Dude,
about
I think my dad was like, "Nah, no, we're looking forward to his dad." I don't forgot his name.
Schlep.
But they talked forever.
Mm-hmm.
And then they became friends. And then I was like, "Holy shit, Mike Mason's here. Like, I'm going to hang out with him while my dad does the." And he was just showing me like, "Oh, yeah, look at this foxglove." I remember, look at this foxglove. And I was like, "Whoa." And then after
Look
then,
at this glove, dude.
not like,
Wow.
yeah, probably those young.
So
type.
what you're so I'm getting with you telling JP stories. Hashtag, maybe we should make that a trending.
Dude, that'd be sick.
Hashtag JP stories.
Yeah, it could be big on this show.
It could be. It
Yeah.
could be. I'm getting from maybe weed hasn't made you a fucking moron. Maybe you were a fucking moron from day one.
I'm
It's the
25
birthplace, dude.
Yeah.
senator, and I'm 25% Filipino. That's one of one. I'm a senator from Carson
Oh, okay. Yeah.
High,
Yeah. All right.
and I'm Filipino. 25%. Guaranteed the only 25% Filipino to graduate from there. Guaranteed. Guaranteed, dude. Fucking guaranteed.
they ever figure out how to hook up Watson, that big IBM computer, to Brain and analyze it, I want him to be number one. Yeah.
We're still trying to get his the 23andMe test so we can disprove.
You haven't done it yet?
No. Is Tony going to give us that test or not?
I hope so. I'll tell him to bring it tomorrow.
Yeah.
They don't think I'm
Our coach at the gym is Filipino, and then she listens to the show and always hears him. He says the shit like 10 times a day at the gym too. So she said that she'll go half with me on the 23andMe test to disprove that he's Filipino. And then this, fucking Juicy, he started going to the gym, and he's like, I have a 23andMe at home that I don't want to use. You guys can have it.
Are you texting him right now?
Yeah.
Juicy?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell him he's a pile of shit.
He told me to tell you hi.
Yeah, I bet he did.
He told me to tell you hi.
Yeah.
Tell him he's a pile of shit.
Yeah, return that favor.
Oh, dude. He came over last weekend to watch Supercross. And we were sitting here, and he pulls up his phone. I forget how he got on it, but he was on his Tinder. And he's like, I haven't been on for a couple of days. I have like,
you sure it was Tinder and not Grindr?
It looked like Tinder.
Okay. All right.
But I don't know what Grindr looks like.
Yeah,
so I did tell Neil one time when Neil was talking about Tinder, I was like, oh, dude, you should download Grindr. And he's like, what's that? I was like, it's like Tinder, but better. And then like I left and went to the store, and like 5 minutes later I got a text, and he was like, Grindr, huh? Like he went to go download it and figured out it was only gays. But
yeah.
So Juicy was here, and he pulls out his Tinder. He's like, oh, dude, I haven't been on for a couple of days. I got like 350 matches or some shit. And he's like, here's one. And he only had a couple messages with this girl, and he was reading them. And the girl's profile said like Ohio to Nevada or something like that. And she's like, oh yeah, I just moved back. And he's like, why'd you move back? And he's reading this out loud, and he said, my dad has cancer. That's what the girl said. And JP's all, oh, I'm a Pisces. And we just start dying laughing, dude. And I was like, dude, you have to put that. And he fucking wrote it back. And he said like, oh, cool. Like I'm a Pisces. And then, but she didn't write back while he was here. And we asked him this morning, and he said she did write back, but all she put was what?
Oh, well, then maybe
Okay.
it's a match made in heaven. So both fucking morons. He only wants a girlfriend so he can wear her pants.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically, since all he wears is chick pants all the time. I'm sure.
Did he tell you how he quit his job at Forever 21?
I didn't even know he was working there.
Yeah, he worked there for like a couple weeks, I guess. And he said he clocked in, and he was like 2 hours into an 8-hour shift and was just like, fuck this. And he like rushed up to the manager, was like, I gotta go. My dad has kidney failure, and just fucking left, never came back.
Yeah, that sounds like something that dumbass would do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta go. Kidney failure.
Yeah. And poor his dad. Poor fucking John. John is the biggest sweetheart on the fucking planet, and he's saddled with that. Once again, he should have drowned him at birth. I mean,
dude,
the population.
Never too late for that, really.
This is true. You could put fucking quarter in the bottom of the fucking bathtub and fucking Tony go diving in for it. All right. Ooh, shiny. Yeah.
That's hella funny, dude.
You think outdoors is gonna go away?
Eesh. I don't think it'll ever go away completely.
What do you think will come first? All electric bikes and supercross, or outdoors going away for
Well, I think that, it's double-edged sword on that one. I think outdoors, I can see outdoors being trimmed, maybe down to 10 to start with and down to 8. And I think more of it is about your hardcore guys are the ones that are going to go to outdoors. I mean, really, I might be talking on my ass here, which is normal. But like Hangtown is close to Metro, if you will, Sacramento, everything else. But we do go to some of these that Unadilla is in the middle of fucking nowhere, And yeah, it's part of the history of this sport. But honestly, I wish we didn't go there. It's not. You ask 9 out of 10 racers, and they'll tell you, "Nah, I don't really like it. I don't like it at all." But it's history. I mean, it'd be like if Talladega had potholes in it. They'd still find a way to go there. Because it's part of NASCAR history. But I can see it getting trimmed down. I think that, and I mean, in that same vein, I hope that Supercross doesn't add more, because this sport is brutal on these guys, and everybody sees the physical amount, but they don't see the mental toll. that these guys at the end of the year are just mentally spent. And half of them go into the beginning of the year mentally unprepared as it is, because this sport is very mental. It is very mental, but mental.
Fucking mental,
bro.
It's so fucking mental.
But I mean, the mental aspect of it, people don't tend to see. And I think that's why you see like Dungey did so well, in my opinion, for so many years, because he had it up here, you know, and when it was time, done, filled his contract, did what he had to do with KTM, talked to them and said, hey. But I am concerned with some of this, because a lot of these guys have hit their head very, very, very fucking hard, basically, that was Andy Millsaps, because he hit so hard. I don't know if you read the Racer X thing a couple weeks ago about him, about that injury and everything. And that's why he had to retire, basically. So I worry about the long-term effects of that, because if you guys got guys that are unfortunately, committing suicide in NFL for CTE, and their helmets are a lot less padding, a lot less structure than our motocross helmets. And you have some of these guys have had 8, 9, who knows how many concussions, because some of them, they get them and they don't tell anybody. They fight through it. I worry about long-term effects of this stuff. So
why is that? They don't tell anybody, like,
because they won't let them race, huh? They won't clear them.
Yeah. Yeah, in a lot of cases, you have to pass a protocol test. I know nothing about what it involves. I've several of my guys have hit hard and had to pass it, and or had to go through it and passed it. But but still, and I just long term effects of it. So this is a brutal in more ways than one, and you get people that get really, really badly injured. But what's going on inside, So it'd be nice, and for the crew too. I mean, a lot of guys chase this, and they're willing to be out there no matter what. And even when I started with Feld, it wasn't about that. I wanted to be around it, but it's a job. And I've had job offers that were for so little money. I'm like, I know, I'll go work at Lowe's and make more money. And that's the kind of people they prey on, or they're so want to be in part of the sport so bad, no matter what they're doing, that they'll take pennies, and that cheapens things. And then they wonder why why their truck's got to scrape down the side of it from a wall, because you paid a guy who has no experience, just has his CDL, And I mean, shit happens to all of us, even the most experienced guys. And there's plenty of guys that are more experienced than me in terms of miles down and driving these. And shit happens, but you hire a guy and tell him you're only going to pay you $40,000 for the entire year, and you're going to stay in your truck, every night except for Friday and Saturday night when the rest of the crew's here, and this and that. You're only going to get 2 people. You're only going to get one guy that's like, oh, I want to be a part of this so bad. But a smarter guy is not going to take that deal. Mm-hmm. And the problem is it does cheapen it out. It gets to the point where they're doing that, and it's like there's other ways you can cut a few corners maybe, and put a guy in your truck who's you're going to make sure he's going to get it there and take care of the issues that need to be done.
Probably worth more
but
too. Like
I skewed off your topic. I don't think the outdoors will ever go away. Now that Honda has introduced this prototype electric bike, KTM, I don't know what. They had one for a couple of years, but I don't think they've marketed it number one in the United States at all. So I don't think it's ever come over from Europe. And I think it was maybe, and I'm just spitballing here, maybe it was, oh, hey, look what we can build, but it's not really a finished product. But when Honda decides they're going to do something, they don't fuck around. So now even it's a prototype, they produced this thing, and it looks just like, a CRF with an electric engine in it. Electric motor, sorry. Mm-hmm. So they're always looking for ways to do different things with, supercross and filler material. Your bouncy suit with Toyota, or what they're doing now with filler. I could see it becoming, maybe some sort of little exhibition type of thing. I'd rather see, the outdoors stay with their 125 Dream Race, or it would be nicer, honestly, in my frame of mind, if that was a 250, deal. Because there's only, there's guys that really can't ride a 125. You're limited to size and weight, and some of these older guys, I like to see them ride, but they need to be on 250s.
Yeah.
But I could see on both fronts. I think you'll see maybe a reduction in outdoors schedule, and that could be based more upon available places to ride that are within the MX Sports parameters of what they want. As it is, we're going to WW Ranch in Florida this year. They took out Tennessee. WW's where they had the GP. I don't think it was last year. It was the year before. Anyway, I did not go, but from what I understand, it's flat and mostly man-made, which is something that kind of goes against what they look for. They look for elevation changes. And, they'll never take away Hangtown, but I've talked about at Wild West, and talked to some people that, could be involved with that. And being that Lucas put in money to build that with Norm DeAnda, I always wonder why,
What do you mean?
Apparently Forrest Lucas, who owns Lucas Oil, put in some money because that Wild West was built primarily so they could have the Lucas Oil off-road truck races. So I think that he had something to do with building the concrete that's there and the grandstands and stuff. He put in some cash in there. So I went and looked, okay, Lucas sponsors the outdoor series. Why don't we look into something like that? Reno's a little more of a destination, whether we like it or not. Reno's a little bit more of a destination than Sacramento. So you can build a lot more around that, weekend here. And I think there's certain places that fail to do so when they have that opportunity for that here. Anyway, I think that some of that might come to be, either racetracks are unwilling to conform to changes that MX Sports wants, or land issues as we get further, along where, people don't want dirt bikes, people don't want noise, and, this and that, or people unfortunately pass away that own the track and own the property, and the next people don't want to have anything to, to do with that lease, and because a lot of this land is not owned. Redbud, I think Redbud is owned by the family, the actual land. They still have to have permits to have the races, but the actual land is. But a lot of these are leased land. And,
like the Martin place?
Yeah, that one is too. I don't know how I could forget that about Big Al, but yeah, they own that land. Yeah. So it was there. Al was telling me that Spring Creek was there. Spring Creek was there before they bought it. There's no national, I don't believe. I think that the Martins brought in the national, but there's only a couple of them I think that are, I don't know. I'd have to go through it all in my head. But, we know Hangtown's not. Paula's not. The land's owned by the Indian tribe.
Are they going to Paula this year?
Yeah. No Glen Helen. They went to Paula. So
is that round 2?
That's round 2.
Oh, cool.
So we'll see how that panned out because I was at Paula in 11 when I worked for Dunlop, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, why did they go there once and not go back? Do you know?
I think they went there twice before they went to Elsinore, because they were. And this is just me reading what I read and hearing what I hear, and I was kind of out of it at that point. But MX Sports and the guy who runs Glen Helen have always kind of butted heads about how things were supposed to be, and they kind of worked things out for a couple of years there. But let's face it. There's a reason why we have 2 Anaheims. There's a reason why at one point we had 3 Anaheims, and we've had 2 San Diegos, and stuff like that, because that is the hub of motocross in America, as far as I think anybody. I don't think anybody can really argue that. So they always want to have a round in Southern California, somewhere. So I think it was a matter of, Glen Helen, you don't want to play ball? Okay, we'll go to Paula. I was never at the Elsinore one, but man, I hear it was not good. So that's what I hear.
Really?
Yeah, it was 1.5 million degrees, and it's just, that's pure flat land, and it's river, it's lake bottom dirt. So no matter what you do to it, it's really not going to be all that awesome. So
since you're closer to like the riders and the politics of guys getting rides and stuff, do you think there'll ever be another J-Law, or is the sport too like pussified and like there's too many? It seems like there's too many good guys that are like good kids too that teams would rather have or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't even know if there's any amateurs that are like him, but it seems like it would just be fucking impossible now to be like him and get a ride.
I think he found that window, and not that he went looking for it, but he found that window. That window was there when he came through. And I worked for Feld, so I worked trackside when he was riding, when he was doing his own deal. That is someone who you might look into having on here is Chris McAvoy, dang, because he was his team manager, at Yamaha Troy, and when they went and did their own thing. Because I'm sure Chris, if he'd be willing to, has some amazing fucking stories.
Yeah,
I bet.
But I will say that in my time, there's a lot of guys that, my number one guy is McGrath, and I think it will always be McGrath. I mean, that's really when I grew up, was early 90s, and going to as many races as I possibly could and everything else. And unfortunately, never worked any races that he raced when he came back or whatever. I was after that, but he's been at the races before. But anyway, J-Law and James, to see the stuff that they've done firsthand, standing on the floor and the way they rode, I've never seen anybody that's been those two guys.
Those two, you think?
Yeah, those two. And completely different styles, completely different. There's times that James would put it on the edge, but I think J-Law was there all the time and made it fucking work.
Man, that would be sick. You probably saw some sick races with Stewart.
Yeah, biggest thing that stands out, and I don't know what year, and we just talked about it, but no, it was 11. It was when I worked for Dunlop. That was when they had a wall at Daytona like normal, and he was coming across the start straight, and there was a little hole, and he was preloading out, and you can look it up, preloading out of that hole and clearing that fucking wall by about 2 inches.
Yep.
And I remember standing there.
You were right by there?
Yeah, I was standing there because at Dunlop, I could actually watch some races. Well, at Daytona, you can because the pits are right there in the garages. And I think I was standing there with Black John, who used to work for Dunlop, and I said, did he just do what I think he fucking did? He's like, oh yeah, we'll do it again, But just shit like that to figure out, and if I, come across this thing and preload the fucking pegs, I can bounce out of it. And that was like, wow. But
that is nice.
That interview that they just dropped, I don't even know who dropped it, but
it was 7.
I think he was talking about that wall.
Yeah.
But that shit, I listened to that whole thing, just got me pumped up. Like, dude, we need him back so bad, or someone like him.
Yeah.
That can just throw down like that. It was so sick.
Yeah.
That's what he was saying. Like, it's better now, honestly, to watch for racing, but like the actual racing part, because it's closer and stuff. It's not just him dominating everyone, but it was sick to watch him, especially during qualifying and stuff. A couple times when I got to see him going to Supercross, where he would always pull shit out like that to get a fast lap, was so sick.
And in respect, he's right about it. Of course, that the racing is. Any weekend we could go in, especially in the 450 class right now, and anybody, Coop, Marv, Eli, Barshow, one race, Baggett, any one of those guys, at this point. And God damn it, I wish on the PAs they really stopped talking about Kenny's arm. I know he's over it,
Not like live.
Yeah, it's just constant. I don't know what they do on TV because I don't see it, but they probably do. Well, they don't talk about it much, but it's also devastating. And I'm like, you think Kenny's tired of this or what? Mm-hmm. And I think he did it. They did last year or something. They were doing a floor interview with him, when after opening ceremonies, and I think he said at one of them was like, yeah, I'm kind of over that and everything else, trying to be polite, but but yeah, any one of these guys can pull something off, and some of these guys do have switches. Coop's one of them. Mm-hmm. And, I'm sure, and I was not privy to it because we're a privately owned team and everything, but I'm sure at Houston there was some talking to going on about, and obviously there's been some talk in the media of it. So, but I think Coop has a switch. When it gets flipped, it's hard to turn it back off, and he doesn't care who's out there. He's gonna go through them. Mm-hmm. Don't get out of the way. he's going to go through them.
That's what's sick.
Yeah.
That's what I love about Coop.
I was just thinking about that. Like, he's probably the closest one out of those top guys to J-Law. And, like, it's not even close as far as, like, attitude that he has
Or
a
Anderson.
little bit of it.
Yeah.
And, like, everyone else is just so cookie cutter and boring.
I mean, you know, in my opinion, Bradshaw was one of my favorite guys too, you know, but when he rode angry, watch the fuck out. And I mean, you know, maybe it's not the greatest mental attitude to go into racing a motorcycle, but it produces some fucking amazing rides. And guys are like, nope, wreckers are checkers. Simple as that, you know? So yeah, I mean, it's pretty nuts, you know, but yeah, I don't think you'll, like you were getting at, again, I strayed, no surprise with me, but, I think that I don't think you'll ever see another J-Law, unfortunately, you know, and as much as I'd like to see somebody that stands this shit on end and kind of makes everybody go, whoa, what the fuck? I just don't, I think money is too much of a, and I think he found that crack and found that window, and it worked all the way up until it, you know, and I mean, he could get in Dungey's head so bad when he switched to 450s. If you look up, so I guess it would be 9 or 10 Indy. You look it up. There's a video on YouTube and Jason never hit him. Never touched him, was just kind of messing with him in practice. Yep. And here comes Dunge, had enough of it, center punch Jason, you know, but he could get in Dunge's head.
There's a great video on YouTube that's like a Jason Lawrence compilation video that's in it. And like there's one where it says like it was on TV. It has the Speed logo on it, and they're like interviewing him in the pits, and he's like, "Yeah, the kid is just born mentally messed up." Talking about Dungey, and he's like, "Yeah, he'll probably fold, and he'll end up with the lead again tonight, and like all this stuff." I'm like, dude, what? That's so fucking sick.
Yeah, and I mean, in some respect, Supercross is a show. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, it's really what it is. It's. You know, I mean, your TV, your show comes first, and your racing is part of that. But I think it's secondary, and that's the way I feel that it's been pushed to. So, why not have some personality?
Seriously,
why not have a touch of WWE to it? You know what I mean? Why not a little bit of that? You know, why not a little bit of calling people out? Just, you know, I don't. You know, I mean, I don't know. You know, it used to happen with Hannah and everybody, and you know, way back in the day. And, yeah, Reed didn't give a fuck what he says at this point. You know, and he hasn't for years. So, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of things we could sit here. We could probably do 5 episodes of talking about, you know, this kind of stuff. But, you know, the long and the short of it is, our team coordinator always tells me stay in my lane, stop swerving, and I have a fucking hard time with that. So. Sometimes I just have to shut my mouth and then let it
drive the fucking truck.
Do my job. Drive the fucking truck. Stay in your lane. You know, and I'm like, I'm swerving. So.
Right. So what's your one piece of advice that you could give anyone? How old are you? Like 68?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
In your 68 years of life, what's your best piece of life advice? And I will tell the listeners, take this one with a grain of salt.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Don't be me. I've given no. It's funny because when Richie's daughter Lindsay graduated, we all made little things to give her advice, and that's what I wrote. Don't be me, And she just looked at me and shook her head. But I mean, I've been lucky enough because everybody's got to work, except for him. Apparently, somehow,
Yeah,
just beg, dude.
Yeah. If I see you on the corner with a sign that says "Vet, please help," I am going to run your ass over.
Dude, we were just talking about that at the gym like 2 days ago because someone's like, "What do you do all day?" He's like, or like, "How do you make money?" He's like, "I just beg for it."
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Dude, you should try to beg and see how much money you can get."
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
No, don't do that. But if I see with the sign says "Vet, please help," you're getting run over. Just be aware of that. You're going to see a grill coming your way. Big old fucking orange Peterbilt grill. I think biggest thing is that I've been lucky, and I wouldn't say that I carved this path for me, myself, but I've been lucky that majority of the jobs that I've had in life, you know, I haven't made a killing, you know, in a lot of cases. But money's zero. I've always been able to have a good job, you know, and a job that I wasn't miserable at. And if I was miserable, I quit it. I mean, I've had them. I have somewhat, you know, had juicy style jobs where but I haven't pulled bullshit out of my ass like that. I've just been like, yeah, I can't do this anymore. You know, it's just not for me. And, but I've been pretty lucky, and honestly, the bulk of it's been motorcycle related. And I mean, to go back on that a little bit, you know, like I was talking about how mental these kids get and everything, and they're coming up at 16, 17 years old and turning pro or whatever, AML lets you turn pro, and they're having all this shit slapped on their back and everything like, and it crushes a lot of them. It crushes a lot of them. If they're not mentally strong enough to handle that, then they fall, you know, they fall down. It hits them in the back of the head and they fall down. But remember, you know, in the terms of what we do, you know, remember why you're there, whether you're a truck driver or a mechanic or whatever, it's because you love motorcycles. No matter what, bottom basement is their fun. So at the end of the day, that's what you got to try to remember. But in the grand scheme of things, if you're not happy in your job, you know, I mean, that's where it all starts.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to fuck everything up. You're going to fuck up your home life. You're going to fuck up everything.
Because that's where there's a lot of, like, so much of your life is at a job.
Yeah. I mean, I've worked jobs that were, you know, $60,000, $70,000 a year. And they were great in the beginning. And then all of a sudden it started being like, I'm not, there's zero fun, zero, you know, redemption at the end of the day of doing this job. It's just collecting a paycheck, and that's bullshit. And that's why, like, I can't speak for you, you fucking pile of shit. I mean, I used to give you shit working at Motosource, you know, like you need to do this. You knew you needed to do the recording and everything else. And now you're branching out into several different things, and you got the house sales, but you're happy. Yeah. You know, at the end of the night, and even if you're sitting on your ass playing Dave Mirra BMX every day for 4 or 5 hours of smoking dope,
hey, I'm happy.
You're happy, right? So that's all that counts, you know. So at all costs,
he does like that game.
I love that game, actually.
You do?
Yeah. Dave Mirra BMX, it's one of the greatest.
I haven't played it in a while.
You need to break it out. It's had a great soundtrack. I mean, Sublime.
PlayStation 1, dude.
Yeah. Sublime, Social Distortion.
You play that, really?
Fuck yeah. Right, buried in my storage unit right now, along with a lot of other shit.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Damn, dude.
You can go break it out. You can go find it tonight.
You are?
No, you're gonna go find it tonight.
I'm not gonna do that.
Where's
your storage unit?
Over by the airport.
In Reno?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. It's a treasure trove of shit.
Really?
Yes, it is. But anyway, long and short of it, like you were asking, since I don't like to answer direct questions, I go off on tangents and shit like that. Just, you know, make sure you're doing something that makes you happy. And if you're not, fucking quit it and find something else. You know?
Yeah. That's good advice.
Yeah. If they're not willing to, you know, if your employers aren't willing to, you know, have it or make it to where their employees are happy, then fuck them. You know, let them find find another fucking drone, find another sheep to do it. But if you don't stay happy at work, you know, you're not going to be happy anywhere else. Social life, home life, anything, whatever. So that's probably it. Yeah. And I've got lucky. Like I say, I certainly did not smart enough to create it on my own, but I've gotten lucky. And it's been because of motorcycles. And in this case, motorcycles attract good people.
So does weed.
I'm sure. I wouldn't know about that, but
yeah.
Like I said, you're an all right guy in spite of yourself.
There we go again, dude.
If you changed like the name of your business and disassociated it from you, like the work you do is awesome, but if you disassociated it away from JP, you get a lot more work.
You're right, honestly.
Like put him as your face and then just show up and like, yeah, that's just a helper.
Marketing.
I'll just put that as the Pastrana logo. That's the San Fran Stadium. Just have that JP Films. Hire me.
Yeah. No.
That's his like mission statement / slogan for his business is hire me.
Yeah. His social media, he'd be better off not writing anything in the captions of his social media. Just throw up the pictures.
Yeah.
Dude,
Because
follow 50 cal. That's where it's all at. That's where my. I'm giving up the photo video game. I'm going straight to fitness, dude. I'm a fitness influencer.
He does influence.
yeah, me too.
Under the influence.
Yeah, me too. Under the influencer.
He's down to 17% body fat.
Great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I don't know what
Dropping.
Yeah.
dropping lbs really quick, dude.
That's what happens when all you eat is pop brownies. Tasty.
Yeah, pop brownies and CrossFit all day.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, let's wrap this shit up.
All right. Get the fuck out of
If
here.
you're listening on the podcast app, make sure to subscribe and rate the podcast, and tell your friend to listen to Go to Bed, and tell their friend to listen to Go to Bed, and your grandma too. Go to bedpodcast.com for everything, all the merch, PayPal, Patreons, all on there.
Shitty merch.
Real shitty merch, yeah. Low quality. You can tell them to print it
I'll
anyway.
give you my
I don't give a fuck.
my fucking Sam Elliott shitty merch.
There you go. What was I going to say? Oh, a quick shout out to our sponsors again. At Walton's Coffee House on Instagram. 3 locations here in Reno. And at EnduroFest on Instagram. May 4th outside of Sparks. Go check out the event there. Hard Enduro event. And I think that's about it.
Is there an easy enduro event?
Yeah, it's called Fernley Sandbox GP.
Okay. Yeah.
That's hard too, actually. Not for us because we podiumed it, but like everyone below us.
There's a podium at Fernley?
You stand on the crumpled bus, the spray painted bus.
You stand on we stood on a dirt bike tire.
There's stumps, okay?
And
That's the podium. There's stumps, yeah.
I was going to say the tires that they have out there.
That's true.
Dirt bike
You can do
tire,
that too, yeah.
car tire,
Fernley,
tractor tire.
Fernley International Raceway.
Yeah. International.
International. You
Yeah.
get people out from all over the place.
Yeah.
If they knew about it, Southwick, fucking done.
Yeah. This
Dude,
is the
they
real
should have a
sandbox.
national at Fernley. It'd be fucking gnarly,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah. I'll park my fucking truck at the fucking truck stop and set up over there.
Yeah.
Better off, huh?
Probably, otherwise it gets stuck.
They could just have the bus for registration for the AMA event too.
Yeah, exactly.
Sign up right here.
Yeah, Tomac, come on.
And this is also a will call and general admission
Yeah.
and anything else. Hot
Oh,
dogs,
yeah.
Medic truck. Yeah.
Medic, yeah.
all out of that one bus. All right. Any last words, dude?
Yeah, I want everyone to go find Savachi and just tell him to go to bed. That's it, dude. And rate this 5 stars. Follow Jerry.
Oh yeah, his Instagram is at the Moto Highway.
The Moto Highway.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pretty easy to find.
Yeah.
And I'll make sure that I, against my better judgment, popularize this shithole podcast as well.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
if you post it, maybe we can get like,
If you dumb dicks would make stickers, I'd probably slide one in on Savachi's bike.
no way.
You never know.
All
dude.
stickers made by Vegas.
Okay.
We're going to Vegas.
You're going to Vegas?
Yeah, we're going to do a live podcast.
If you guys are going to actually be there, then I'm going to do all that I can so you can bury this hatchet with Joey.
Okay.
And you guys can be friends.
I bought the new car so we can drive.
Okay. All right. You
We'll
got
drive.
AAA just in case
We're-
it doesn't
I
make
did.
it. Okay.
Oh, he does too.
Yeah, we got it. We needed as many fucking AAAs as we
Between
could
the
get
two
just
of
for
you,
Warped Tour.
you could probably, as long as you don't break down before Tonopah, you can get it towed into Vegas. You'd be good.
Yeah.
Park it behind the semi if you need to.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
We're going to say hi to you too. Maybe get you on our Go to Bed Instagram story or something.
That's fine.
All right, cool.
That's fine.
All right.
I'll probably block you too, but it'll be.
Either way.
Hey, Savachi, hey, you know those fucking faggots that go to bed? Yeah, I blocked them too.
Yeah.
High five. And they're
Work
like,
house.
actually, just kidding.
They're
Come
right
meet
here.
'em. Yeah.
Yeah.
We could set up right outside the Cowie rig.
We'll see what we can do about that.
Yeah. That'd be
Dude.
sick. And so he can just see us the whole time.
Dude, I'm nervous. I don't want him to not like us.
Dude, why?
Well,
I want him to
I just
hate
don't
us.
I don't want confrontation with Savachi.
What's he going to fucking say? That dude's like 140 pounds.
I don't want to have to lay his ass out like a rug, dude, you know? You know?
The only thing you're laying out is a rolling papers. Okay? That's all you're laying out.
That's right. And
You know.
out to 10.
But you're happy.
You're right.
That's right.
Does it look like Savage's happy? I'll let that one ride.
It's like you were blowing up your fucking Instagram about fucking just show up. Mm-hmm. He showed up.
Showed up.
He probably woke up about 5 minutes before I got here, but he still showed up.
He's
That's all
here.
that matters, yeah.
6 days a week, CrossFit, dude. Feel my muscles, dude.
I ain't touching you.
No, feel them.
No.
Feels like I stuffed a fucking pigeon in my arm.
You would fit the fucking a winged rat in your arm. Yeah. That's what it sounds like when they hit the windshield of fucking Peterbilt.
Just think of these guns whenever you hit a bird.